What's up, YouTube? No fancy camera work, no fancy lighting. I got the classic black and white mode on, and I just want to talk about something briefly. Then again, it might go longer than I want to. Let me just begin. So, fortunately, I was able to get my hands on an Xbox Series X. Now, here's the funny story. It's not even funny. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny then. From launch, right? From the launch date, I was so busy, so caught up, it slipped my mind to pre-order a Series X. So I didn't. And then when it was kind of too late, I did. So here's what happened, right? I go to Target and they're telling me, oh yeah, what you got to do is download the app. So yeah, I already have a Target app. Okay. So you go and you pre-order it. So while I'm in the store, I'm trying to pre-order it. And it just kept saying sold out. So I find an employee in here and I say, listen, is there something that I'm not doing right? Because I'm trying to pre-order this and it's telling me that it's sold out. And it's not until next week. So do you have them in stock and they already pretty much, belong to someone? Okay. So she's like, no. And she's like, no, we don't have them yet. Excuse me. She said, but the system crashed because we had so many people already just flood the application trying to, pre-order. So I'm thinking, you know what? Even if I try to pre-order it now and I'm trying to pre-order it now and it's not letting me, I believe that's the problem. And it's probably going to be a long time before I get my hands on one. This is not me telling her this. This is me thinking this to myself. Okay, so anyway, I go on the system and I'm noticing I can't put anything into the little shopping cart. Okay, so I'm feeling real discouraged and uncomfortable about the situation. I'm not going to get one. So this is what I did. The morning of, when they said you have to show up at the store. Now Target does this whole, they do the senior citizens get an hour to go in before everybody else, and you can't come in unless you're 65 and up or something like that. So I'm like, hey, look, man, I ordered a Series X or whatever. So I go in, and I'm thinking, I'm unless I get lucky, maybe somebody just canceled their order or something like that. So I got no luck. Left there feeling it's going to take forever, right? Start getting flashbacks of the Nintendo Wii, because that's how that happened with that. As far as it took me over a year to finally get one and I didn't. That's another story itself. So what happened was this. The next time they did it was before Black Friday. So I'm trying to get it from Walmart. No go. GameStop, no go. So I made up in my mind that it's going to take a while. So what happened was I called GameStop and they said that Wednesday that they were going to have, actually it was the next day, 9:00 at night, pre-orders. I got their app. I go on there. Bam, 8:59, I'm already logged in. 9:00, bam, I'm typing. And all I see is sold out, and I couldn't do anything. I'm like, oh, here we go again. So he says also that Friday morning, they were going to have Xbox and PlayStations, Nintendo Switch, whatever. They were going to have them in the store. They were opening at 7 a.m. So I'm like, okay, I just happen to be off. So I get up, and this place is 7 minutes from my house, okay, by car. I drive around the corner, and it's a part of a little strip mall. The whole little ride over there, the streets were so empty, I'm like, okay, hopefully I get there and there's nobody there, right? So they have a store called Ollie's. That's before there. First I see somebody at the Planet Fitness gym looking at the time. So I guess they thought they were open. They wasn't open. So when I see people going in and out of Ollie's, I'm like, oh hell, what the hell? Ollie's don't open this early, but I'm like, it's Black. Damn, I didn't know they was having a Black Friday sale too. Now they don't sell like Nintendos, and they don't sell consoles and stuff like that. So GameStop is a little bit further down. So they have a Dollar Tree store that has like a hood type, like little. So I'm like, when I get past Ollie's and I see the Dollar Tree, I just see a sea of people. And I'm driving up to find somewhere to park, and I just see people sitting in lawn chairs and stuff like that. It was 28 degrees outside, and people were literally camping out at GameStop since 4 o'clock in the morning to be first to get in that door. Now, here's what I didn't know. Okay. And I know they don't keep a supply like a Walmart or a Target would, but they only had 4. Y'all hear me? They only had 4 Xbox Series X, and they only had 6 PlayStation 5s. And I'm saying to myself, there's no need for me to even get in line, because I think this would be nothing more than a pipe dream if I tell myself some way, somehow, I'm going to go in that store and get my hands on a Series X. And they were only letting like a certain amount of people in at a time. So when I heard a guy come out and say how many that they had, I'm like, so I'm looking at the boxes. I know if I see like a long, slim box, like, okay, that's a Series X, or Series S. So I'm looking, I'm like, okay. And in fact, they didn't even have any Series S as far as what they said. They had only X and PS5s. So I see 2 rectangular wide boxes. I'm like, okay, that's a PS5. Okay. Then all of a sudden, I hear a guy coming out, jumping up in the air. Yes, yes, yes. Smiling, happy. And it's a long box. I'm like, shit, that's a Series X. Then I see another guy come out with another PS5. So I'm like, okay. Then all of a sudden, I see 2 more people come out with the Xbox. And I'm like, damn, they got 1 left. I'm like, I'm not going to stay here and cross my fingers and do any of that. It is what it is. But I know I'm leaving here empty-handed this morning, which is exactly what happened. Okay, long story short. So I'm discouraged like hell, man. So I'm like, you know what? It's probably going to be a long time. And I'm knowing like Christmas, same thing. So I'm trying to find out, what can I do to get my hands on one? Because every time I try this pre-order online nonsense, it's just not happening. So I'm like, I'm not mad, but I'm kind of a little irritated, a little disappointed. Like, damn, I can't, So what happens is this. I happen to know somebody that work at Walmart. So this was Saturday, the next year, after Friday, after Black Friday, that's Saturday. I'm right across the street at the store, Ollie's, that's right by GameStop, right? As I'm coming out, we get a call, like, listen, where you at right now? I'm like, wow, what's going on? Hey, come right now. We got 2 Xbox Series X, only 2. Come right now, man. I'm gonna try to hold it for you. I'm like, man, I'm right across the street at Ollie's. So I said, let me ask you something, because I know somebody else that worked there. And this person didn't even know that I knew that person, right? We used to work together so else. And I asked, was that person there? He said, I don't know who that is. And I said, go to the cash register by the electronics section, right? They all wear name tags, and see if that person is there. He looked and said, damn, yeah. And he started describing the person. I said, yeah. I said, tell that person to hold a Series X for me. I'm right there. I'll be right there in like 2 minutes. All right. So he did. And when I came in, you know how you're just not confident until you get it in your hand and know, okay. So that's what happened. I got in and I saw people in that line, and I'm like, oh man. So he's telling people, they're like, what's the line for? They're like, oh, TVs. They didn't have TVs there, but they was trying to like, they didn't want to say anything because it was first come, first serve. They wasn't advertising it. If you went to like the display case, there was no games down there, so nobody knew. So if you just walked in and just happened to ask, And then they go and checked it. Yeah, we do have one. So they only had two. So when I got in, person looked at me and gave me that wink. I'm like, oh, okay. And the guy's like, yeah. So spoke to him. We went to the cash register to do it, did it quietly. And so the other next person next to that person went to the back to get it for me. And they was going for a while, and I'm saying to myself, man, don't come out here and say that, oh, I thought we had one, or we just please don't tell me that. Because I might go to jail for snapping, right? So I'm sitting there like, nah, don't tell me that. So all of a sudden, hear the person come with the Xbox. And that feeling of satisfaction, like just like went all over my body. And I'm like, oh, thank you. So that's how I end up getting my Series X. So the sucky part is where I live. The Wi-Fi is ridiculously slow out here. So I'm checking like everything, my Wi-Fi connection, and like it says everything's good. And it says it's like 86.1% or something, or 86 point something percent, but it's so slow. So what happened was this. And my computer, I don't know if that has anything to really do with it, because we still get the Wi-Fi. And it never was really fast, even when the computer was working. Now when I try to turn my computer on, it comes on, but then it just, you hear the fan. But the monitor will you'll see the blue light come on and it'll just say monitor turning off. And I'm so tired of taking that damn computer to Staples. They fix it. It worked for 2-3 months, then something else happens. And so I think it's just time for another computer. But at the same time, it's like, I want to get a booster, and it's only going to make sense if I get a new computer. Because, I'm not going to go buy a booster because I can't turn the monitor on to type in whatever I need to make sure everything is going through. So that's how I got my Xbox. And that same day, now we have Forza Horizon already locked and loaded in the One X. But of course, we want to see it on the Series X. So what actually happened, this is how slow the Wi-Fi is, okay? And also what happened when we loaded it, instead of installing the game first, the update popped in. The update for the Xbox Series X came up there. So not only was that updating, but the game itself was updating, plus upgrading the graphics, and it was doing the system update, the game update, and updated the graphics at the same time. So what happened was we put that game in Saturday when we got back. And this was it was before 4 o'clock, before 5 o'clock rather, because it was still light outside. Okay, and it gets dark out here like around 4:45, something like that, 4:48, between that time. And all of a sudden, yesterday morning, when I went to check to see the percentage, it was at like 24% or something like that. So the only game right now that I have installed in my Series X is Fight Night Champions. And right now I'm installing Samurai Showdown. So what I'm going to do, I think World War Z will be next. Any game that's like 25 gigabytes or less that I want to play. Here, I'm trying to find out what Killer Instinct has, because that's my game. Any game that I want to play frequently. Because since I had Samurai Showdown, I haven't been able to put it into the One X. It will start, then it will just say installation is stopped. So it's like, you know what? And I have a hard drive backup for it and all of that. So it's like, you know what? We'll put that in the Series X. And Forza is like 75 gigabytes. Marvel Avengers, we have that. Still haven't played that yet. That's like 80 megabytes, 80 or 8 gigabytes, 80 or 85, something like that. And Borderlands 3, same thing, 75. I don't really like WWE 2K20, but I do like 18, which I have, and I want to put that one in there, and that one's 50. So I'm going to do it in the order where I'm going by less megabytes, and then the big files I'll do last. And it's cool because we have a Wii, we have a 1X, we have a 360. And what happened with the installation as far as the like why it was so slow. It was doing all three of those things at the same time. So I think what I'm gonna do is after I get Samurai Showdown in, I'll probably put UFC 3 in. I didn't buy UFC 4 yet purposely because it's like I just hate having stuff sitting around and can't use it, but I'll eventually get that anyway. But yeah, and then I'll put that in once I get UFC 3 in, World War Z, and then maybe no, I'm not even gonna do that one. Because like anything that I have in the One X, I don't need to. I'm not in a rush to put it in. But certain games I want to have in, it's not going to matter because it's going to take a long time to get these games downloaded. So anyway, that was my situation with getting denied my Xbox Series X to finally wind up getting it just unexpected. So a lot of people like, how'd you get it? Because they know that I went to get it and I couldn't. Listen, people, GameStop, I love y'all. But I be damned if I'm getting up 4 o'clock in the morning to go sit in the cold, to go sit in the heat or whatever. The only way I can see that happening is if I live right across the street from you guys and it's like, you know what, let me just walk over there, prop my seat up and just relax. I can't do it, man. It was 28 degrees. There was people out there with flip-flops on, shorts and t-shirts. And I'm like, wow. Not only did you show up, but you showed up underdressed. Show up to get a video game system just to get pneumonia. But nah, look, anyway, that's all I'm going to say. I will catch y'all on the next video.